My first suggestion is Paul Reed of the Philadelphia 76ers. Not a big surprise here. He's 34% roster. At least he was last night when I checked. Joel Embiid has a meniscus injury. My professional analyst opinion is that he tore the damn thing. Philly has 4 games next week, so even if he makes some sort of miraculous comeback or the injury was misreported, who even knows?
Yeah. You never hear someone has a boo-boo on their meniscus.
Right, yeah. He had a small cut on his meniscus. One Band-Aid will fix that thing up. Yeah, Philly has 4 games next week, so Paul Reed, definitely a strong ad. Last night in Utah, 7-10-4, 2 blocks, 1 steal. As a starter this year, 12-7-3, 55% shooting, 1.4 blocks, 1.2 steals. Let's not overcomplicate this thing. Just add him this weekend.
Yeah. He's up to 43% rostered now. Yeah. So you want to move fast if you're going to scoop up Reed.
I'm going to start with someone we've mentioned frequently the last 2 years, Santi Aldama of your Memphis Grizzlies, who's only 27% rostered. Look, no one is healthy on this Memphis Grizzlies roster. He does qualify as a center and forward on both Yahoo and ESPN. That flexibility can be really helpful. Aldama ranks 76th in the last 14 days in 9 category leagues. He's only 27% rostered as of about an hour ago, Friday morning. Last 4 games, almost 15 points, over 7 rebounds, 3.3 triples, 1 stock while shooting 48% from the field. He's started in the last 6 appearances. Memphis does only have 3 games, though, but rest of the season, this Grizzlies depth chart, it's a mash unit. Bodies will be playing. I think we could be talking, at the end of the season about the massive twin towers of Santi Aldama and Vince Williams.
Shannon, let's go to your first waiver wire pickup.
This player has become an unexpected favorite of the Friday waiver wire segment. Aaron Nesmith, a swingman for the Indiana Pacers. He was 54% rostered yesterday. That's up to 59% as of this morning. We have to keep bringing him up because he keeps playing better and his value keeps increasing. He's been a top 20 player over the past week, averaging 19.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 trays, 1.4 stocks in 35 minutes per game over the past 5 contests. He's the player on the Pacers who clearly received the biggest boost in value from Bruce Brown going to Toronto. I highly recommend picking him up in 12-team leagues. I think he even has some value in 10-teamers if you need production in those categories.
My second free agent suggestion, Gary Trent of the Toronto Raptors. This is very specific. If you are in a category league, this is for you. Points leagues, you don't even have to think about this. He's been in the starting 5 since the Siakam trade, averaging 15.6 points and 3.9 threes in 28 minutes. He's shooting about 58% on threes, so expect that to go basically to like 3 threes a game. But he's a great 3 specialist, and the Raptors are on a 4-game week. So if that's what you need, pick him up. And the Raptors have almost practically admitted to the fact that they're pulling the plug at this point. So don't be surprised if the injuries keep piling up. Guys get dings, they sit out. Gary Trent keeps playing 30-plus minutes and jacking threes.
They trade Bruce Brown, and now there's even more shots available for Gary Trent. Keep jacking.
All right, Ken, who is your second suggestion?
We're going to the well again one more time. Backcourt of Chicago Bulls. Ayo Dosunmu, the Illinois product. He ranks 43rd over the last 14 days in 9 category leagues, posting an impressive 16.5 points per game, over 2.5 stocks, and shooting 60% from the field. Look, Zach LaVine is still hurt, and we keep wondering if he's going to get traded. It's time, frankly, for these Bulls to pull a plug on this veteran team that can't win. I will warn you, Bulls have only 3 games next week, but I think Dosunmu is going to be their starting point guard for quite some time. I would also make sure you check Max Strus, Bruce Brown, or Cam Johnson. Those guys all have 4-game weeks coming up. But longer term, I like Dosunmu, as I think you mentioned last week, Alex, for the Bulls.
Yeah, my second suggestion is Precious Achiuwa, forward center for the New York Knicks, 24% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Precious been a top 75 player over the past week. He's earned 3 straight starts with OG Anunoby and Julius Randle out. Julius Randle's out for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. OG's probably going to return soon, but it's kind of to be determined what the Knicks will do with that starting lineup. They could easily go bigger, have Precious start at the 4, have OG at the 3, move Josh Hart to the bench. It's kind of to be determined. I do believe Precious will continue to see an increased role during the next 2 to 3 weeks with Randle out either way. So he is a short-term rental. But those 3 starts that he's made so far, 38 minutes per, 13 points, 8.7 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, 1.3 steals.
Unfortunately, I do have to recommend my long shot, which is Mo Bamba.
Boo!
Please, thank you. I'm like Joe Mazzulla. Bring on the booze. I love it. 2% rostered when I wrote this up last night. 4 games for the 76ers.
Oh, wait, that's up to 2.2% now.
Oh, thank you. Joel Embiid. Look, I will continue to say it. I believe firmly that he tore his meniscus and that he will be out at least 3 weeks. That has not officially been reported yet. Long story short, other times Embiid has been out. The minutes have been up and down from Bamba, but if it's going to be an extended absence, I think they will need Bamba for about 15 to 20 minutes a night. Paul Reed can get in foul trouble. Please keep your expectations to a bare minimum. But last night, Mo Bamba, 4 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. And when he's seen double-digit minutes this season, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2.7 stocks. So if you are in a deep league, I absolutely grab him. At least just to stream this week at the very minimum. Ken, who is your long shot?
My long shot, mentioned earlier in the show by Shannon, is Bilal Coulibaly, 19-year-old rookie guard for your Washington Wizards. Look, Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones have been terrible. The 19-year-old Coulibaly got the start Wednesday when Poole was sick. He put up a sweet 19.4 rebound, 2 assist game with 3 stocks. Stocks are going to be his calling card. Look, this is the rare future asset for these Washington Wizards, who should be in full tank mode to get as many lottery balls as possible. And remember, the Wizards traded up to get Coulibaly at the number 7 pick in this summer's draft. This is the perfect time to throw a ton of minutes at Coulibaly. Look, this is the long shot section. He might hurt your field goal percentage, but he could have a really nice upside.
Okay, Shannon, who is your long shot?
Yeah, our last recommendation for the week, another guy we've talked about before, Cam Whitmore, guard forward for the Rockets, 24% rostered. Cam Whitmore has been just tearing it up in limited minutes, top 90 player over the past week. In only 20 minutes per game over the past 5 contests, he is averaging 18.4 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.8 three-pointers. I also believe he has considerable upside in the steals department. That really hasn't been the case over the past dozen or so games. He doesn't have that many. He's only averaging 0.6 steals on the season. But we've seen it in spurts where he'll have a few steals in a game, or in the summer league in particular, he was crushing it on the defensive side.
He had a steal and a half in college, steal and a half a game in college.
So I do think there's some upside in that category. I kind of view him as a Sadiq Bey type player with maybe higher upside once he does see 30 plus minutes per game.
That sounds good. We can move on to our potential drop segment. One name I want to bring up, Harrison Barnes. If you picked him up, I hope you got 2, maybe 3 good games out of him, because it might be over. Now, I will say, past 2 games for him shooting the ball have been horrible, but the shot attempts are still up.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're in a deep enough league, like if you're in a 16-team league and someone was like, he's done and dropped him, I actually don't hate just picking him up to see for like a game, especially if you have like a daily transactions league or something. But yeah, we've seen this from.
For drops in general, remember you got 4 teams with only 2 games next week. So Utah, Portland, Minnesota, Denver. Walker in Portland, if you took a flyer on him, but you really need some immediate production, now might be the time to let him go. I'm trying to think fringe in Utah.
Shannon, could I get an opinion on Jaden Ivey?
Jaden Ivey, that's a tough one. I do expect the Pistons to make some kind of move before the deadline that could free up minutes for Jaden Ivey. Basically, the only way to free up minutes for Jaden Ivey is really for the Pistons front office to say, here are 8 players that you get to utilize for the remainder of the season, Monty. If you give Monty Williams any more than that, he will take minutes away from Jaden Ivey. It's just a fact. It's a truth. I don't think he's droppable yet. He is still seen. He played 35 and 29 minutes past 2 games. He's still in the starting lineup. It's just when you have Alec Burks coming off the bench, if he has a hot game, it's going to eat into Ivey's minutes on a given night. But Ivey's been pretty solid, even in the past 4 games where his production's dipped a little bit. 28 minutes per 13 points, 3.5 boards, 3.3 assists, and 2 3-pointers per game. I think I would be surprised if he doesn't average 30 minutes per game for the remainder of the season.